So the British Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc wins for Ferrari. Big win. His first race victory since Austin 2024. Ferrari win again. 2 wins in 3 races. Congratulations to Ferrari. Congratulations to Charles Leclerc. And it was a well-deserved win. You have to say. Yes, you could say he had some luck and so on with what happened to Kimi Antonelli and so on, but the start he had was fantastic. Overtook Antonelli. Hamilton also overtook him, but Hamilton had a 5-second time penalty for the false start, and after that Antonelli overtook him. However, Antonelli he lost time battling with Hamilton, and then when he overtook him, he was 4 seconds behind Leclerc. And then when both pitted, Leclerc and Antonelli, they pitted. I think Leclerc pitted in lap 20 or something, or lap 19 or something. He pitted, and whereas Antonelli went for longer in the mediums, a bit like Hadjar did in Austria when he went for the mediums a lot period in the race, and then he went with the hard tires for the last 20 laps or last 30 laps or something like that. So yeah, and then he went with basically a one stop, which is similar to what Charles Kimi Antonelli was trying to do. He made the pit stop, and when he came back from the pits, he was 7 seconds behind Leclerc, but he was on much fresher tires, 10-lap tire all difference between him and between Antonelli and Leclerc. And Antonelli was gaining. He was gaining a second or half a second on Leclerc almost every single lap. He was gaining. He was getting closer and closer and closer. And you think like, okay, Mercedes have done it. I've done it again. They've done better the strategy, and Antonelli is going to go on and win the race, and it's going to be a great victory once again from Antonelli. However, Antonelli, when he drove in lap something or in lap 40 or something like that, he went into the curbs. He pushed the curbs, where his front left wheel shield braked loose at the clipse, and that put him in obviously in the situation where wheel shield was after that was broken. And even when that happened, Antonelli was like, "Okay, there's something wrong. There's something wrong within my car. There's something wrong. Please check. Someone check. Is it the front suspension? Is it the wheel shield?" And it was all kind of those like it was a back and forth, ongoing conversation between Antonelli and Bono. And he said, "Is it the shield? Is it the Boca suspension, or is it the front wing? What is it? Why is it? What's wrong with my car? There's something wrong," and so on. And obviously, he made a couple of pit stops for Mercedes to understand what was the problem, because it was unusual what happened to Antonelli. Like when you push that hard in the curbs in the wheel shield, then there is something when you press like that push like that in the wheel shield, and obviously your car brakes, then there's something wrong. There might be something wrong. And listen, if it was like a puncture or something like that, that can happen. Like for example, Russell had to pit, I think for the second time, because he had because he was on a puncture, as his engineer told Russell, and Anthony had to pit, and they were like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then obviously he lost positions. He was trying to get 1 point. He was trying to get a point that even though where Bono was telling him, retire the car. Kimi Antonelli was like, "No, I wanna continue. I wanna try and get that point because every point matters in the World Drivers' Championship." And like he was unlucky. He was unlucky for the safety car, because if it wasn't for the safety car, I think he would have finished ninth. I think 9th or 10th, something like that. He had a 5-second time penalty for the track limits, and it was unfortunate because obviously the car was moving quite unusually, and the car was kind of broken, let's say. So he went off the track a couple of times, and he didn't do it on purpose. So I understand Kimi's frustration and Bono's frustration in radio, but at the same time, the rules are the rules, and when you go off the track a lot of times, then you're gonna get a penalty for that. And he got a penalty for it. He got a 5 second time penalty for it. There's some people that maybe could have gotten a black orange flag, maybe, but I think a 5 second time penalty was enough. I think it was the right decision, because especially his car was broken, and the car was moving unusually, so it was not like he moved off the track on purpose. So, but I think the rules are the rules, and when you go off the track a couple of times, then the rules have to be followed, no matter if you did it on purpose or not. So this is something that had to happen to Antonelli, and he suffered the 5 second time penalty. And then obviously unlucky what happened towards the safety car, which I'm going to talk about, of course. And yeah, he finished 16th, where he obviously had a 5 second time penalty, where he could have, like I said, finished ninth or 10th place, and he could have gained at least a point or 2 points for the importance of the championship. But what I liked about Antonelli, especially after the race and in the race, is that he showed a great championship mentality. That even he has had the difficult moments. He's been very unlucky. He was very unlucky in this race. Very unlucky. He was very unlucky in Barcelona. He was kind of unlucky in Austria as well in qualifying. But even though you could say some of it was his fault, but he's had some difficult moments, unlucky moments. Some of it not in his control moments in the last three races. And Antonelli, he showed that he's been better than Russell on pure pace in Barcelona and Silverstone. Even though in both occasions Antonelli lost 18 points to to Russell on in the races, because obviously Antonelli won the sprint and Russell finished fourth. So yeah, I mean, now Antonelli's what 25 points ahead of Russell. He's a race win ahead of Russell, and obviously the gap was big. Now it's a race win, so of course it's not ideal for Russell's. Sorry, for Kim Antonelli's sake, that he's getting nervy. But at the same time, if you want to win, if you're going to win your first drivers' championship, of course there are going to be some nervy moments and so on. Like Lando Norris, when he won his first championship last season, people said, "Oh, he's going to win it before Abu Dhabi. He could even win it in a Qatar sprint." And it was difficult again, and he won the title by 2 points at the end. So when you win your first drivers' championship, of course you might think like it's going to be easy and so on, but it's going to be very difficult towards the end, no matter what. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to face some difficulties that is not under your control. And I think Kimi Antonelli, the way he responded in the interview, he was calm. He's not like he's faced by anything. He's not like the difficulties he's had in the last three races is affecting him. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go again and try to do better in this Spa, and try to be very strong and try to be very competitive and try to win. And that's a great mentality to have. You need to have because if you are like, let's say, in this kind of situation for the World Driver Championship, you think like, yeah, like yeah, everything is going against me. Everything is against me. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna crumble and so on. Whereas you don't see that at all from Kevin, and he's very very calm. And I think a lot of credit has to go to, of course, for his side, because he's very sure, for sure matured, and he's shown level of great belief and confidence in himself, and he's shown level of maturity and character. But at the same time, you also have to give credit to his family, because obviously his father obviously plays a big role in his career. He's obviously, he sacrifices a lot for what I feel, a lot for Antonelli. Toto Wolff deserves a lot of credit, because he's like, listen, Kimi, your place was fucking awesome, as he said in the in the radio. Sorry for swearing, but it was effing awesome and so on. But like, you will go again. You've done a great race, great performance, but you will go again. Don't worry, Kimi, and so on. So, and Kimi, Toto has done really really well to keep him in balance in terms of emotions, and has done really well to make Antonelli like show great composure. Composure, of course, that great composure and maturity that Kim Antonelli has, and is shown, the credit has to go from Bono, his family, himself, Kimi, and also Toto Wolff. So even if Kimi had some difficulties, even though Kimi had some difficulties, difficulties, especially in situations that is not in his control, he's shown that he's still better in pure race pace than Russell. And if he keeps this level of good performances from now until the end of the season, especially in the crunch time, where obviously this is where mostly the championships are decided, then you should still back Antonelli to win the championship. Because obviously this is not how it works. Like one driver can perform amazing well for most of the season, but obviously towards the end, it's about how you deal with that pressure. So yeah, I still think Antonio will win the championship. He's performing fantastically well, but at the same time, of course, there are some situations that he cannot control, reliability and so on. And unfortunately, reliability can play a big role in yourself losing World Drivers' Championships, like it happened before with Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. That's how it is in Formula One, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's how you deal with it. And I think Kimi Antonelli has dealt with it fantastically well so far, and that's how it deals with it for the rest of the season. But Charles Leclerc, great win, great victory. Obviously, he's had a lot of difficulties. He's had a lot of problems. He's had lots of poor performances in the last 4 or 5 race weekends. But yeah, I have to say, this weekend in qualifying, when I saw him in the sprint and sprint qualifying, you think like, yeah, I mean, again, his poor season continues. But in the race and qualifying, he was absolutely fantastic. Finishing second, not far behind from Antonelli, even though it was like almost 2 tenths. Finished above his teammate, where his teammate is usually strong in Silverstone. He made a great start, overtaking Antonelli, Charles Leclerc, and from now until there, he controlled the race fantastically well. He drove fantastically well. He, even though when Kimi was gaining on him, he drove fantastically well. He kept his composure, he kept his calm. The Ferraris were looking strong, they're looking quick. Leclerc was looking very quick, and yes, you could say he had a bit of luck with what happened to Antonelli, but this is not something he can control. And even if Antonelli was getting on him, you have to say Leclerc deserved to win because he drove fantastically well. He had a great performance. He didn't do any mistakes, any shenanigans. Ferrari did well in the strategies. Maybe not 100% because obviously I'm going to talk about what happened in the safety car towards the end. But generally, Leclerc was absolutely fantastic. He drove fantastically well and he deserved to win. And obviously, for sure, this win will give him a lot of confidence. And especially, you can feel it that he give him a lot of confidence because if you heard what he said after the race. He said the tough time never lasts, only tough people last, and that's a great, fantastic quote, of course. So yeah, but a great victory for Charles Leclerc. And like I said before, the wait is finally over. His first win since Austin 2024, which is a long time, by the way. But yeah, he won in Austin, I think, where he didn't start in pole position also. So this race was also similar. He didn't start in pole position. And by the way, in Austin, when he came out of lap one, he was in first place, even though he didn't get pole position in Austin. And this one was similar case also. So yeah, and I remember that race. I think Lando and Max were starting top two, and obviously they had a kind of an argy-bargy moment in the first lap, and then Leclerc down the outside overtook him, and then it was a straightforward overtake, easy, no problem. Even though Max and Lando were busy fighting, and then Leclerc after that he dominated the race. So this was a kind of a similar one where he overtook Antonelli, and then after that he controlled the race fantastically well. Even though there were some difficulties, Antonelli was gaining on him. He was going closer and closer, but you have to say Leclerc generally was fantastic, and he controlled the race fantastically well, and he deserved to win. So well done to Leclerc, and he for sure he's shown that he can cope with the difficulties. He's shown that he can compete with his teammate, especially because obviously for most of the season Hamilton has been getting the better of him. But this weekend to bounce back the way he did against Hamilton, who's usually strong at Silverstone. In his home race, to cope to perform like that and to drive like that, you have to say well done to Leclerc, and he drove amazingly well. And now he has to continue like that. He has to continue this. Obviously, for sure, this is a great moment. Like I said, tough time never lasts, but only tough people last. And obviously, that's a quote that is very memes. It's shown some memes in social media, but it's also true. But now he has to continue with that. Now he has to continue in the upcoming races. He has to continue like that in Belgium, where he's very strong there. In Hungary, where he got his pole position last season. He has to continue like that. He has to continue because one race doesn't define your season. Of course, this win will give him a lot of confidence. Of course, this win is very important. Of course, this win is a brilliant win for Leclerc, especially to do in Silverstone. Ferrari's first win since 2022 in Silverstone. But now he has to continue like that. He has to continue and he has to keep performing like that. So, yeah. Listen, he's not in the World Drivers fight, or he's not even close to the championship fight. I mean, he's 70 plus points behind Antonelli, and I think it's going to be difficult for him to fight for the championship. But if he keeps performing like the way he performed in this race for the rest of the season, then and he maybe gets a bit of luck of Mercedes reliability, then who knows? Who knows? So yeah, but great performance from Leclerc, and he for sure deserved to win, regardless of the safety car at the end, regardless of what happened to Antonelli. Of course, this kind of things plays a role, but generally you can't say Leclerc's win was down to luck, because he fully deserved it, because he drove amazingly well, and he, yeah, congratulations, and you can see the relief, the smile in his face, how happy he was in the radio. For sure, this win meant a lot with him, a lot to him, especially with the difficulties and the circumstances he had to deal with, especially in the last 4 or 5 race weekends. So huge win for Leclerc, and congratulations. Um, and even though it was a great win for Ferrari, arguably should have been the 1-2, because of this whole shenanigans that happened towards the end. Let's talk about it. So Max Verstappen was in third place, and somehow he was gonna get podium, by the way, where Red Bull were still nowhere. They were still looking poor in terms of race pace, and somehow he was gonna get a podium only because of luck. Let's be honest, because Antonelli obviously had difficulties. He kind of DNF'd, even though he continued till the end of the race. He kind of DNF'd. Russell was looking poor. McLaren, they were not that great also, and somehow he was going to get a podium, even though the race pace of Red Bull wasn't that strong. But of course, the rear wing failure doesn't go away from Red Bull, because, like, how many issues is Max Verstappen going to keep facing? Rear wing failure. Like, how many issues is he going to face? I feel sorry for him, because like when drivers, and ironically the crash was obviously in front of the Lando stand. Out of all the places, his crash was in front of the Lando stand. Obviously there was a lot of yellow shirts, of course. It was a bit like, well, it's a bit like Borussia Dortmund or Ismaili, where there's a lot of yellow shirts and supporting Lando. But yeah, out of all, I mean, listen, Max, if you're gonna crash or you're gonna go in the gravel, go to other places. But to go in front of the Lando stand where they support a driver who beat you in the drivers' championship last season, I mean, yeah, it's not what you want, of course. But anyway, um, like, again, like, when some people who don't have a lot of knowledge in Formula One will think like, oh, Verstappen is crashing a lot of times like this. What's wrong with him? His driving this season has been terrible. This and that. But in reality, like, how many crashes are you gonna keep seeing that from Verstappen? When especially he's not in his control. Like, come on, Max Verstappen, when his car works, you never see Verstappen making this kind of crashes. Usually, except Saudi Arabia 2021, of course. But usually, you don't see him making this kind of crashes when he's at his best and when his car works. Because he was going to get a good podium. He performed fantastically well. He performed fantastically well, not the car. He performed fantastically well. And he crashed because of something he can't control. Again, another really weak failure, like Austria. He was aiming for pole position in Austria, aiming for top 3 in Austria, and because something he can't control, he crashed. And similar situation in this one where he didn't crash, but he went into the gravel and rear wing failure once again. Once again, if he made a mistake, if that was truly Max Verstappen mistake, then he would have gone into the gravel and then he would have continued after that. But he didn't continue, even though he didn't crash and he went into the gravel. He didn't continue because it was a rear wing failure once again. Red Bull, like two race weekends in a row, you have 2 rear wing failures. 2 rear wing failures in a row. You're Red Bull. You're one of the best teams. You're a top team, and you can't fix these issues. Sorry, like, a lot of the blame has to go to Laura Makers, to Pierre Washer, to those people. Because how can you keep making these kind of silly mistakes? How? It doesn't make any sense. Making the same mistakes all over again and again and again and again. You don't fix it. Nothing. Not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. Absolute shambolic. Not good enough. And the blame has to go a lot, obviously, to the people, to Lord Mackes, to Pierre Russia, to the people who are responsible for this kind of car development, because this is not normal. All the weekend it happens for Red Bull. Rear wing failures and so on. It's not normal. And it's frustrating that Max Verstappen cannot compete for the title this season because of something he cannot control. It's a bit like Lando Norris also. Both drivers who were, you could say they've been the best 2 drivers in the last 2 seasons. They are facing issues this season because of something they cannot control. And when the car works, they've shown they can drive fantastically well. Like, for example, Lando in Miami, Max in Austria, and so on. But a lot of the issue, they've had a lot of issues where the car don't work, and they face difficulties because of something they can't control. And again, like, it's not good enough, not good enough at all from Red Bull. You can't keep this facing issues all over again and 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 again. Come on, it's not good enough. It's unacceptable, unacceptable. Again, issues like that again and again and again. Not good at all. So a lot of the blame has to go to Lauren Beckers, of course. Like I said, obviously, like when he crashed, I think at the start of the Australia, you think like, yeah, maybe it's a car problem, or he made a mistake and so on. But when you keep seeing this kind of crashes again and again, you've got to say at some point it's the car's fault. It's the rear wing failure once again. Monaco was the similar thing also, even though it wasn't a rear wing failure. The engine was not responsive, and again, poor race start. Like, the issues that Red Bull keep facing, keep repeating, is race starts and rear wing failures, and you can't fix it. Unacceptable. So yeah, and then obviously that crash caused safety car, and obviously everybody went to the softs with 3 laps to go. Went to the softs except the 2 Mercedes. And everybody went to the softs, by the way. And obviously there was supposed to be a final lap, as they showed that safety car ending, and there was supposed to be the final lap. And then when the safety car stayed on for the 52nd lap, I was like, what? You said safety car was ending. Why is the safety car not going to the pit lane? Why? And then software issue. Yeah, software issue. Yeah. You could clearly see they didn't learn the issue from Abu Dhabi 2021. You could clearly see it. Listen, it was a different mistake they did in Abu Dhabi 2021. Why they continued the race, and it was supposed to be ended in a safety car. This one, it ended in a safety car, but the problem is they showed a graphic that the safety car was ending, and it was supposed to be a final lap showdown. If they didn't show that there was supposed to be a final lap showdown, and I understand, because when I saw Verstappen crashing, I was like, yeah, unlucky. The race is going to end in the safety car. There's not enough laps to go. They showed that there was going to be a final lap. The safety car is ending, and no, because a software issue. Lot of BS. Lot of BS. So fix your software issue, FIA, because like there's so many problems that you can fix in Formula One, and you have software issue. Yeah, this the last lap of the race, and you have issues in your software. What a lot of BS. A lot of BS. And because of this software issue, it cost Lewis Hamilton a potential second place, and it potentially cost Lando a podium in his home race also. So a lot of the blame has to go to the FIA. Like, what are you doing? Listen, I understand why the race was ended in the safety car. I understand. There's not a lot of laps to go. But the issue, the way it happened. You told us that there was going to be for the final lap. And then after that, oh, it's a software issue. Liars. So, yeah, like you need to fix it. Fix your software issue. Otherwise, like, you open a can of worms. You're opening a can of worms, like issue after issue after issue after issue after. Like, what is this? Like, you didn't learn from Abu Dhabi 2021? You didn't learn from Abu Dhabi 2021? Stupids. Anyway, but because of that shenanigan, Russell finished second. And listen, Mercedes, their strategy worked. They got lucky, to be honest, but their strategy worked because they're like, okay, Russell, don't go to the pits. Try to get second place. The race might end safety car, and it ended safety car. And this time it went the Mercedes way, because obviously the last time similar situation happened in 2021 in Abu Dhabi. It didn't go in Mercedes way, of course. But Russell finished second. Obviously it wasn't a great performance from him again. Wasn't a great performance, but he gained 80 points on Kimi Antonelli. He got his first race home podium, so congratulations. But again, if he's gonna have to look realistically, it was not good enough once again. He was getting outpaced by Red Bull Verstappen. Red Bull that was slow. Four this week. Four. And you're driving a Mercedes. Hamilton got past him. The guy was performing really poor. I mean, if the normal conditions happened in the race, he would have finished like what, fifth, sixth, something like that. But because of Kimi's issues, because of the safety car and Hamilton pitted, because of Verstappen crashing, he finished second somehow. Kimi had issues as well. He could have also finished behind Lando, I believe. Yes, don't get me wrong. He didn't have all the luck because he had a puncture, so he had to pit. But at the same time, like if he wants to win this driver championship, he can't keep relying on luck. He can't keep relying on luck. He's gonna have to prove his performances. Because if he's gonna have to keep relying on reliability issues of Kimet, and listen, reliability issues can be a factor, of course. But if he's gonna rely on that to win the championship, I'm sorry, you're not gonna win the championship. He's gonna have to prove his performances. Otherwise, if it keeps going like this for the rest of the season, Antonelli win the championship. Antonelli win the championship. Of course, it's not gonna stay like this because obviously there's gonna be twists and turns like we saw last season. But Russell's gonna have to improve because he can't keep performing like this if he thinks he want to win the championship. Hamilton, he didn't have his best performance. Also, you have to say Leclerc got the better of him, but Hamilton got a podium, third place. Is now 32 points behind Kimi Antonelli, and could have been 29 points behind Antonelli, and 1 point behind Russell as well. But again, should have, could have, would have. Did Ferrari make a mistake by pitting him? No, I don't think so. Because when the safety car comes out, you have to pit straight away. And it was supposed to be a final lap showdown. So listen, Mercedes, they got it right, and the others got it wrong. Or most of them, I should say. But at the same time, they got lucky because there's, like I said, there was supposed to be a final lap showdown, and yeah. So yeah, Russell. So yeah, like again, like it should like. So I don't blame Ferrari for pitting. I don't blame Ferrari for pitting. I don't blame McLaren for pitting because Lando could have got a podium as well if he stayed out. I don't blame Red Bull for pitting. I don't blame anybody for pitting except Mercedes because it was supposed to be a one lap showdown. And when the safety car comes out, you have to pit straight away. But Mercedes, they got lucky and they got it right. So well done to Mercedes. But great way for Leclerc. Like I said, McLaren and Lando finishing fourth, even though they looked way at the pace. Good result for Lando, and arguably could have got a podium. Hadjar did quite well, finishing fifth. VCARB double points finish once again, very good. There was a bit of an argy-bargy moment between Lawson and Piastri, which caused Piastri to obviously to be in the back foot, and he finished 11th towards the end. Double points finish from Alpine. Good points finish also from Portoletto as well. Finally, Audi get some points despite all the difficulties they had in the last races. Alpine got the double points finish, but obviously it was kind of luck, of course. So yeah, great win for Ferrari, and obviously now the gap is between 32 points between the top three, between George, Antonelli, and Hamilton. Listen, I still think Antonelli will win the title. I still think he's the favorite, but of course, things can change very quickly. And yeah, Russell is for sure he's still in the fight. 25 points behind Hamilton. I also think he's in the fight, even though I don't think he's gonna keep I don't think he's gonna challenge for the title towards the end because I don't think Ferrari is as good as Mercedes. I think they will be in the long term for this season, and I think McLaren will come back, of course. So at some point, so yeah, but I think in the fight it's gonna be between Antonelli and Russell to the end, and maybe Hamilton. Who knows? But yeah, fantastic race. I mean, amazing race. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of back and forth, back and forth. We saw a great battle also between Russell, Hamilton, and Verstappen for that third place at some point. So it was a phenomenal race, and it's a race that I'm pretty sure a lot of people enjoyed. I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, Mercedes also have a good lead over Ferrari for the constructors. 33 points for Mercedes. Ferrari 255 points for Ferrari, and yeah, Mercedes should still win the constructors. So yeah, but I would say the last three races show that Mercedes are not unbeatable. So Ferrari, they can punish them. So let's see if they can continue that in Spa. But yeah, great win for Leclerc. Congratulations to Ferrari. Congratulations to Leclerc. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.